Okay, man, are you ready to go?
I'm ready to go. Now, come on, now crank this motherfucker up.
Break it down like this.
Hello, Internet. Gino, that Pinguino Greco, here again with another episode. Oh, you're right, dear listener. I am not Gino, that Pinguino Greco. I'm M. GameMaker M. Palladino. Gino is away for the week, and he has left me, of all people, in charge of our off-week podcast. So, welcome to the maiden and most likely last voyage of the Deep Listens Variety Show. Pause for fanfare. Da-da-da-da. Thank you all for coming on short notice. I am joined on this venture by friends of the show and the co-hosts of our sister podcast, Off the Deep End, Chris, ZombiePie Redacted.
I'm looking at a user-created list of top 10 twinks in video game history, and Tales from the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise is on here, and I'm very confused.
Is Link on there?
Yes.
Who is the number one twink on the...
Link from Legend of Zelda.
Link, yeah.
Yep, correct. They got that right, at least. Also joining us, Jeff Rude.
Hello, everyone. I've been feasting on Dom family memes and the Sonic the Hedgehog, the two dudes arguing on Xbox Live about who has Uno available to them, but they've taken the text and put it over like the opening to Symphony of the Night or Sonic Adventure 2, where him and Shadow are running down the hallway, and he's just like, "Everyone has Uno, you fucking idiot." He's like, I don't know, I have the oldest Xbox in the world. And he's like, "You fucking lot." So good.
You could put that on the wheel.
Yeah, dramatically enacted.
Which memes are we obsessed with right now?
All right, adding to the wheel, meme obsessions.
Just edit this part out. I'll be like, "Wow, have you guys seen this Dom Torino?"
I'm just going to clip that, and I'm going to copy it into the section on memes.
Very good.
So you will hear the same audio twice if we get to that.
Yeah.
And finally, Braden, ArbitraryWater Redacted.
Hi, hello. I told my therapist I do a podcast, and then I told him absolutely don't listen to it.
Please do not listen.
Please do not listen to my podcast.
Put it on for the analytics, and then turn it off.
Yeah.
Just mute your audio.
You might get a greater insight into me as a person, but do you really want that?
Above and beyond the Call of Duty. All right. Well, thank you, gentlemen, once again for joining me. What I'm sure will be a metric-breaking off-week podcast. Either our highest or lowest, who knows. For those of you who are just tuning into Deep Listens, this is probably not the podcast you want to start with. You should go check out our coverage of The Pedestrian if you want to know what we do regularly, or Off the Deep End's Grandia 2, which I hear is a banger of a game.
Indeed.
But, yeah, more on that in the respective podcasts. For those of you who are diehard Deep Listens fans, this variety show is going to be a compilation of our favorite bits from across our shows, as determined by our trusty wheel of dubious podcast topics. We have a sizable amount of things on this wheel. Every so often I'm going to spin it, and we're going to change our topic accordingly. I've updated what Braden originally gave me with even more subjects, and it's going to be an interesting one. And then finally, Jeff will give us the results of the State of the Deep Listens poll. Jeff, do you want to talk about what this is?
I had a shocker. I had a bad idea. And it's like, hey, maybe we could, because I believe in science, and I believe it's really, A, lists are good, and B, like, when we decide what games are important, that's like a final, infallible, permanent thing. So just based on those horrible, directions, I was like, what if we did like a survey of like the Deep Listens community and tried to drag in as many people as we could and make our definitive favorite games sort of thing snapshot for 2021, like right now. So yeah, there's been a Google survey, like a weighted list, and then I've calculated and tabulated and combined all of that, and I've got a really, really, really bizarre list of games that we've all decided we wanted to put into a time capsule, basically. And we will go over the results of this dumb thing. And I'm sorry.
How many responses did we get?
A whopping 9.
Wow.
Yeah, including my mom. No, not quite, but yeah. So appreciate everyone who responded. Really shows the power of our reach, and I can't wait to make everyone mad with this thing, including me.
Controversy gets clicks.
Yeah.
It's okay. Who knows how many people are going to listen to this episode?
Hundreds.
Thousands. It's going to be on the cover of magazines. Anyway, gentlemen, any questions before we begin?
I'm embracing the chaos. Just give me more chaos.
As the originator of the dubious wheel concept, I am ready and willing and able.
I have a
Excellent.
question.
Yes.
When does a dream become a nightmare?
Is that some Kingdom Hearts bullshit that you just quoted for some reason?
Oh, we should have put Kingdom Hearts talk in this wheel.
Oh, don't worry. I'm going to add it on right now.
Yeah.
Kingdom Hearts talk.
Just gotta hold my tongue, because if I'm gonna have a space, I'm gonna use it.
All right. Before we begin with the variety show, I get to do the usual housekeeping in my best Gino Greco impression. Ahem. You can get in touch with the show at DeepListensPod on Twitter, deeplistens.libsyn.com. We have our comments sections, and deeplistenspodcast@gmail.com. You can also support the show on patreon.com/deeplistens, where even $1 will get you access to our Discord, where you can talk with the host of the show and watch us as we flounder for content rudderless without Gino to guide us. Who wrote that? If you join us on Discord, you might get on the Discord report. Boop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doop. This week on the Discord report, what's been going on Discord? What cursed shit has ZP put in the food channel today?
I put in good, wholesome burger content in the food channel this time.
See, 2 of these look fine, and then the third one has 4 beef patties and pickles and onions and nothing else, and 1 piece of cheese.
Oh, wow.
Japan Burger King is a threat, and I'm all here for it.
Reminds me
Yeah,
of
don't
like,
get me wrong. Yeah, like Japanese burgers are a magical thing.
I think it was like Jesse Ventura, before he was a governor, he was a wrestler. His go-to order, like for takeout as a traveling wrestler on the road, was go to Wendy's, order a triple hamburger, completely dry, no veg, no cheese, no food lubricant on it. And that's like how he got calories and protein to continue like being a large muscle man. This is one of those, but they've gone through and ostentatiously added yet more meat and a little bit of like lubrication and then some fiber. So you might actually see it eventually later on in your life.
Oh, good.
So
Looking forward to that.
Yeah. Noted that there was a lot of talk about this Temtem controversy where I outed myself as maybe not the greatest Pokemon enthusiast.
And now I have to fight Jeff in the streets. It's fine. You're entitled to your opinions, even though they are wrong.
Think about it this way. The less Pokemon I play, the more the rest of you get to play. Huh?
I don't know if that's how that works,
That's
okay.
definitely how it works.
Temtem is the Pokemon MMO knockoff, which is honestly really freaking good. And it had an update yesterday. I have about 200-ish hours in it, just because I can do literally anything else while I'm running around in grass fields looking for Temtem. There was a thing for hardcore players where they could upgrade their Temtem to make them better, and the developers were like, you shouldn't be able to do this yet because the story isn't even finished, and we're going to reduce the amount of these items you can get. People did not like that much. And so they were all in an uproar on their Discord, and I was like, y'all gotta chill out. Yeah, that was fun yesterday. It gave me a really bad migraine. and then I went to bed. So if you want to play Pokemon with your friends, Temtem, check it out. But don't get super hardcore with it, because otherwise you will...
This is why we can't have nice things.
Exactly.
This is why your Pokemon MMO was always a foolish dream.
Yeah.
Because the people ruined it.
The people. It's always the people, isn't it?
Okay, I have a novice question.
Yes.
Because my understanding, at one point in my life, I did touch a game called the World of Warcraft, and there is some manner of small animal collecting and or cockfighting in that game as well. How well? Okay, Pokemon, Temtem, pet fighting, and World of Warcraft, like a tier list. Like which one? Which is the superior experience?
It's been a really long time since I played any World of Warcraft, let alone the creature collecting, battling thing. How would you describe that?
I mean, that's about as well as I have.
Okay.
That's what I got. This was about, 6 years ago.
Mm-hmm. You one of your all-time favorite games is an MMORPG.
True.
World of Warcraft kind of set the gold standard for a very long time in terms of mounts and those little pet options, right? Those little familiars, companion stuff, right? That's basically still the same, Jeff.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, Temtem compared to Pokemon, all of the battles in Temtem are double battles where you're using two Tems at once.
All right.
Whoa.
They made it so stat changes are through the entire battle, as opposed to if you swap out, then the stat changes go away. So you could
That's actually a big deal.
Yeah, that's pretty huge. They also made it so there's no accuracy. Everything that you do will hit, unless there is like a move that gives you evasion, in which case it will miss. But there's no like random chance. There's also no critical hits. So if you want a more consistent style of battle, Temtem is for you. It seems to be much more geared towards like competitive play, as opposed to Pokemon, where there's like, always a chance that you'll just fuck up and won't be able to hit. But yeah, so if you're interested in that, check that out. It's still in early access, so they can always change all of these things. Caveat for that, but that's been the core of the system.
All this is to say that the controversy is dumb.
Yes. The controversy is going to probably be rerouted to something else in the next patch anyway. So, it's these Pokemon fans who are like, we want you to defeat Pokemon in the battle of money. And they're like, we are 30 people. That's not going to happen. Anyway, you want to spin a wheel?
Yeah.
Let's spin a wheel.
Let's spin a wheel. It's the first spin of the wheel.
Braden, what is the origin of you using wheels as a gimmick?
So this was the last donation incentive for my very first streaming marathon. Was the original inception of the Wheel of Dubious RPGs. That's how we got to everything. My entire brand is built upon doing a charity marathon and then thinking, haha, wouldn't it be funny if I put all of these weird, bad games that I own on Steam and GOG onto a randomizer wheel? Wouldn't that be good donation content?
Is it?
Honestly, I've had more people watch me play Jedi Knight 2 in recent.
Don't remind me of games I did not expect people to watch me play.
Yeah, just like how ZP getting a lot of people.
Spin the wheel!
All right, I've spun the wheel. I spun it twice and got, oh god, we've got to fill this airtime with something, which I took as re-roll.
Okay, spin it
so
again.
On the third re-roll, I got oops, all VTuber talk.
Hell yeah.
Which we were dreading if it was going to come up, because Jeff now has to out himself as a VTuber follower.
Yep. Okay. This is going to not take very long. Yeah, so someone on my Twitter retweeted a Twitter user named _LVL, so dot level, who is a VTuber. They are currently working on, with some people who are doing the software side of this, a full translation of Tengai Makyo Ziria for the PC Engine CD-ROM platform. So haha, I talked about a VTuber. Now I get to talk about the actual cool thing. Tengai Makyo 1 Ziria is the first what we would basically identify as a JRPG that was sold on a CD-ROM. It was released in very early 1989, and it is very, very, very big. It is very much in the like Dragon Quest kind of vein, but the scale of it is absurd for like JRPGs of the day, which would have been like Final Fantasy II and Dragon Quest III, basically. It's fucking enormous. The text of it is quite large. My understanding of these things is that PC Engine, like, there are plenty of text translation hacks for PC Engine cue card games that came on cartridges, but the CD-ROM games are a little more complicated. But I've talked to this person actually directly about this, and the text is, like, in a pretty good shape from what I've seen so far. It's just a matter of doing the software part of it. So it's very cool. It's a really important game. Tengai Makyo 2 is like definitely a more important, influential game in terms of like weeb Japanese shit. And it's one of those kind of white whales of things that has never gotten translated, along with like Tokimeki Memorial and up to like very recently like Sakura Tyson 1. So if this paves the way for Tengai Makyo Manji Maru getting translated, it would be really, really cool. And even if it doesn't, it's a really neat project. So ._level, they have a whole schedule on Twitch. They seem like a lovely person, and they're a VTuber. There you go.
All right.
Said my piece.
I have no idea what any of those games are.
Tengai
I'm happy
Makyo.
for you.
Yeah.
Tenkai Makyo came up during the Final Fantasy Crystals podcast because Jeff got obsessed that the character designs were borrowed from Tenkai Makyo.
They look pretty similar. Like yeah. And, you know, those being CD-ROM games that had a bunch of, you know, you wouldn't even call it like Japanimation because it didn't come to America in the early 90s. They were just like anime stills and cutscenes and shit. The only one of those games that got localized ever was a Neo Geo fighting game, which got localized as Kabuki Clash. So you can see characters from the Tengai Makyo series rendered in, you know, stunning Neo Geo, really good big sprite fighting game mode if you want, but the JRPGs never made it over here. So,
Can I ask a question about VTubers? I think there are two of you who have actually played around with the software. I was talking, you may remember from the Giant Bomb Community Endurance Run, one of our fellow moderators, Rio Starwind, used a VTuber and kind of talked to me about the process of making it. He made it seem like it was easy, and then I even saw M use it, and it seems like it's actually way more complicated and fiddly.
The actually making the model, or
let's go with
it?
D, all of the above.
Gotcha. Yeah, I did a stream where I was working on a model, specifically like trying to get hair in the right places and stuff like that. And I might have gotten a little too granular with it. You can download like there's Booth and stuff like that where they have models that are free for use depending on what people have put up. And they're of a variety of qualities, let's say. I've not found one that I like enough to use, so I was trying to make one of my own. It's time consuming, but the program itself is a little... You don't want to use a lot of the innate tools that are with the program, because like using their built-in thing for like color editing and stuff, it's a little wonky. But you can like port stuff from Photoshop and stuff like that. So take textures out and then modify them in like Clip Studio Paint. I'm not sure if you can like do a modeling thing in like Blender or anything, but I haven't tried. There might be some
Blender's for a different purpose animation wise.
Yeah, all right. Anything to add, Braden?
You know, it was Kiara's birthday yesterday, and you can buy merch, and they're like, hey, you want to buy this really cool wall tapestry? And I'm like, $30 plus an ungodly amount for shipping. Sign me up. And then I didn't buy it because I looked at my bank account and realized that would be actually financially irresponsible. But I have a pillow.
I want to put you on blast, but didn't you buy something?
I have a pillow.
Yeah.
I have stickers and a keychain.
Is it a pillow or is it a body pillow?
It is a pillow. It is not a Daramaki. It is a regular pillow.
Okay, small.
With Amelia Watson on
small
it.
favors.
Ooh, you went with Amelia Watson? Actually,
yes,
Amelia Watson.
Toxic Gamer Amelia Watson.
Yeah, that's
I have someone in my life who is, let's say, a young troll who I'm sure is going to grow up and be less of a troll, but he is fond of putting on a Zentai suit and carrying an anime lady body pillow with them on public transit.
Oh, he's one of those people with like the Ahegao sweatshirt.
Wouldn't surprise me. It's been
Okay.
about a year since I've been able to see this person for COVID reasons, but
Tangentially related, but I recently saw a souped up kit car with a Faku bumper sticker on it. And it's like, dog, you've made some choices.
old normie Jeff yells at Cloud. I understand how VTubing like mechanically what it is and like how it works, but I don't understand the appeal of it like at all. Like it's one of the first things I've encountered where it's just like, nope, this is youth culture. I don't need. This one's gonna go past me. Which feels kind of scary. It's like, oh god, I'm at that age now. It's just like there are things that just aren't gonna hit. So I don't know. I don't want to take it away from anyone, but the whole thing just kind of confuses me, I guess.
It's the difference between talking to a regular person and talking to an anime girl.
Sure, I mean, like
reject the flesh.
Fundamentally, exactly. I kind of like. Hey, I grew up on chat, right? I literally married someone I met through like a Final Fantasy roleplay community on like a blog. Like I get that. That's not lost on me. It's just the specific medium of it. It's not for me, but it can be for other people. We ain't yucking yums.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Ain't into that.
Your best self. I think the one thing that I've gotten close to actually using it is as someone who is not comfortable streaming with my camera on, but still wants to have some sort of avatar to show that I am there and interacting with the audience. It's very appealing to that end. Also, as someone who, I haven't gone to a concert, but as someone who liked Vocaloid's music, this just feels like the natural evolution of that.
Okay.
Yeah, now everyone can be a Vocaloid.
I hadn't really thought of that angle, but...
And I think the other angle I would go for is like, if you are a woman on the internet... People are weird, and so having a character and kind of an avatar to hide behind while still interacting, I bet they appreciate that.
Yeah.
I will say though, and I feel like we've kind of sometimes talked about this, I personally prefer the Japanese VTubers over the English language VTubers, because some of the English language VTubers, they go too far. Holy shit.
Yanners is a lot.
Oh, God. I can't watch her for more than 5 minutes.
Like, I love watching her highlights, but she's something. God bless her.
She's a new style of VTuber.
She is a chaotic evil energy.
Yeah, true. My VTuber of choice is Eye Candy, who is an Australian who, if you say something dubious, will wave a gif of a gun into your face at chat. So, you know, if you want to talk about chaotic energy, there's that. Anyway, let's spin the wheel.
Spin the wheel.
Just remember, don't talk about Taiwan.
Yeah, no. I wonder if we got any traction in China after that episode on devotion. I gotta ask Gino about that. Anyway, let's spin the wheel. The next topic. What I actually mean when I say juice. Okay.
Yeah, please, because you pointed out I was misusing this. So
yeah. So I've got the Wikipedia page for Game Feel open. So, Jeff, what do you think I mean when I say game juice?
Let's see. I think the way I was describing it, it seemed to make sense in my head because juice is not like it's not describing the entirety of the game. It's like the use of mechanics and the result of the feeling of those mechanics that is like intrinsic to that game. For reference, I was talking about in Grandia 2, you get to a point where you've figured out how to use the crit ability in combat to basically keep a boss stun locked for like half of a fight, so they like just get no moves and you're just like dumping on them. My reference point for that was you described in Final Fantasy IX the feeling of using Steiner to throw magic at Vivi, who then Vivi bounces magic off Steiner, right? And then attacks people. Like that feels good to do that. And it feels good to leave those bosses stun locked. So that was my association.
Can I make a guess?
Willing to be correct.
My guess, when I heard juice, I want to give a guess. So when I was thinking of it like as life juice. You know, have you ever cut off the head of a bug and then a bunch of juice came out? So I was kind of thinking like that. Whatever the context was, if you were to cut off the head of the video game, all the juice that comes out.
Okay.
It's nothing but it's all this
FBI contact us.
This Unity juice, this Unreal, this UDK juice.
If you take this juice out when you cut off the video game's head, now the game is dead. It doesn't work.
It's filled with id Tech 5.
Report cybercrimes by filing a complaint.
Okay, well, Jeff, you're definitely closer than ZP.
Can I make a guess?
Braden, yes.
Is Gamer Juice, is it Monster Energy Drink? Is it the juice that gamers?
G Fuel.
Is it G Fuel?
Okay, clearly I've done a disservice to the game developing community.
All the kids are on Bang now, guys. Come on.
Oh, jeez. All right. Anyway, so Game Juice is actually more colloquial game feel. There is a book by Steve Swink called Game Feel, A Game Designer's Guide to Virtual Sensation, which goes into like what this actually means. Basically, games, like you could be a rectangle hitting another rectangle just by bumping into it in an empty room, but that doesn't feel like anything for the player. So the actual like juice that you put into the game is like when that rectangle bumps into another rectangle, there's a little bit of like screen shake, or there's a like a noise that happens, like a bump. And so by putting in all of these different elements, you then get like responses based on your input. So input that you put in is just like push A, and then when there are actually things that happen, like that triggers serotonin and all that in your brain, and that makes it feel better. So that's like good game feel. It's like there's a responsive nature to the game. There's a video. This is a really good video. It's about 10-15 minutes. It's called Juice It or Lose It, which is a talk by Martin Jonasson and Petri Herho. I don't know how to pronounce their names, but you can YouTube Juice It or Lose It. They take a, where you hit the block with a ball, like a brick breaker situation.
Or breakout? Or...
Yeah, breakout, that's it. They take breakout, and they're like, this is just like a basic thing. We're going to juice it up. And then they go through the process of adding in a bunch of like, all the balls have lines that kind of trail behind them as they go bouncing around the screen. And every time a block breaks, there's like a yay. And the screen shakes when there's a lot of blocks breaking. And whenever the paddle that you're guiding across hits a ball, it like gives a little wiggle. And so that is like all of those combined makes a like more effective result. So this is like kind of subtle, I guess. Games like what was that one? Katana Zero that we played? That has a ton of like this game juice where it's just like really responsive. Every time you do something, there's a result on the screen. That's kind of like extra thing most of the time for game developers. That's what that is.
Okay. So you're telling me that game juice is anything I associate with good air juggles.
Yeah, if you start to juggle and there's like really good like animations for kicks and stuff and
good weapon feedback.
Yes, exactly. It's about feedback. And then the actual like doing good mechanics, that's a whole other thing.
That's game flesh.
Yeah, that's the flesh. This is the juice. See?
So what you're saying is video games are like Jesus. I eat the flesh, I drink the wine, the blood and the flesh. Video games are Jesus.
The only podcast to be banned in mainland China and the Vatican. It's listens.
Whatever helps you think about it, DP.
Video game transubstantiation versus video game consubstantiation was a big topic of debate in the Holy Roman Empire.
Oh boy.
We are the Arius heresy or whatever.
Yes, Arius. Talking about the nature of the video game trinity.
The Council of Nicaea has decreed that game flow versus game feel. Anyway,
you know what? Fuck
feel,
all y'all. I'm
juice.
supporting the anti-pope.
Oh no.
What's the video game anti-pope? Is it Cruelty Squad?
I am spinning the wheel again.
Hey, thank you for the explanation.
No problem. I hope it was helpful. If I find a way of explaining it better, I'm gonna direct you to it. Oh boy. I landed on another one that's about me, which is my experience with Apex. But I don't know if I want to talk about it.
Wait, if we're going to talk about Apex, why don't we just turn that into tell me about your stream?
Okay, yeah, we could
This
do that.
being Apex Legends to be Omega
Yes.
clear? Okay.
Yeah. ZP, you got to do the song.
Tell me about your stream. Tell me about your stream. Tell me about your stream.
Very good.
Beautiful. All right. So I've been streaming a bit of Apex Legends. My roommate has been getting into it pretty deep. I had no experience with it until probably like a month ago. And it's a Fortnite, PUBG, Battle Royales, where you are playing as a bunch of legends. The titular legends of the Apex Legends. And you run around and pick up guns, and then you try and kill people, and usually the people kill me. I have only won once. I did not do the winning, someone else did. It's very hard. There's 60 people in a game on teams of 2 or 3, and yeah, you are more than likely going to die. Each hero has a certain power. It's fine. There was a pretty big hack recently, about 2 days ago. You might have heard about this. Someone hacked Apex and changed it so you could not play the game, and they wanted to save Titanfall 1 because apparently there are a bunch of hackers on Titanfall 1 and it's unplayable, which that's why Titan 2 exists. I don't know why we're even talking about Titanfall 1.
Apex takes place in the same universe as Titanfall. And
it is the same developer, yeah. But Titanfall 1, of all things...
Who's still playing Titanfall 1?
That's a good question.
A game which was a 360 and Xbox One game, so, like, who knows, maybe they're talking about a 360 shooter client, which, like... There's a YouTuber named Casey, who, if you want to go check out like a cool up-and-coming good YouTube channel, it's K-A-C-E-Y, does some coverage of like Call of Duty games in a sort of archival way. I think their content's very good. But if you want to see some hacked fucking games, go try to play like Black Ops 2 on the Xbox 360 right now. It's dark. And it's weird that they're selling those games for $20 still digitally when you buy them used and they're still like reasonably expensive. But yeah, like they don't care about these games anymore. They're not maintaining them. Maybe that's a not tremendously wonderful thing, but that's not where their money is coming from. That's not what they're trying to sell. So yeah, beyond that, like the Twitter, some dev was like, yeah, I was spending July 4th with my family, and then I got a text of like, oh, hey, Apex is on fire, you get to come in. So I had to like put my infant son down and say, well, I guess I'm going to be at work for 16 hours now. Because someone's upset that an 8-year-old game isn't the way they want it to be. Like,
it's just a very strange hill to die on.
Yeah.
Now, if this was about Titanfall 2, man, I will bat for Titanfall 2.
I've heard very good things about Titanfall 2.
The story in that game is great. If you like
single
Apex,
player campaign and the multiplayer in Titanfall.
If you like Apex and want to know where the world of Apex comes from, the single player mode in Titanfall 2 does a lot.
I hear very good things about it. Waypoint did an episode I listened to a while ago about the time travel mission. Which is like...
that's what I was talking about.
Yeah, it's like formative game.
Each one of those missions has like some new unique mechanic that could basically be a whole game, and then they just like move on from... Like, it's clever in the ways that like Half-Life 2 are, but less tedious. It's a very, very, very good game.
It's really hard to play Half-Life 2 again. You don't remember all of the, like, walking around in the middle of that game. Anyway, tell me about your stream, you guys. What's going on your stream?
ZP, you go first.
Oh, no. You want to talk
about your buddy Kirito.
Okay, well, first off, I've been streaming Grandia 2. I'm way ahead of these two chuckle fucks in terms of where I am in the video games. I really should start taking notes, but I refuse to because it's all muscle memory. Wait, no, brain memory. But the other thing that I've been streaming is way, way worse. I bought a Sword Art Online game on a whim for $5. And the title of the stream is I bought Sword Art Online Lost Song for $5 and need to justify this purchase. And I've streamed this game for more than 5 hours, an ungodly amount.
Do you feel as though you've gotten your money's worth yet?
No.
I feel like
no.
Chris should be paying me.
Boy, how do I even talk about it? So Sword Art Online is like Michael Bay Transformers of anime. It is the most corporate friendly, guided, tactical, like we've made the most ho-hum entry level anime in a genre that seems to appeal to a lot of entry level. Not to, if you like I've said this before, if you like Sword Art Online, I am not directing any recalcitrant feelings or negative vibrations towards your way, but I will say, holy shit, that entire world is deeply problematic and also just not good. But this video game seems to be obsessed with giving you Skinner box after Skinner box, and it's not a gacha game. And by Skinner box, pellet out of the box thing that I mean is anime cutscenes that are the most like banal, ho-hum, generic-ass anime shit. I spent a 30-minute cutscene in which the characters were, well, Braden was there.
Yeah.
Caressing a cat girl's ears against her consent and causing her to experience what visually looked like she was very uncomfortable. And then a male character getting caught by his girlfriend, but they got married in the video game world and are married, but they're teenagers. And they have a daughter that is a in-game AI from the previous game that calls them Mama and Papa, and she's like 2 years old, but she's a 13-year-old, and she's not a real person. She's an AI. And then that getting caught by your girlfriend caressing another girl's cat ears led to the characters donning cat girl fake ears, and it wouldn't stop. And then before that, we had a scene that was about 20 minutes long in which said male protagonist got caught with a porno mag by his girlfriend. And then the scene went on a painfully long amount of time. And then I did a mission to like learn the importance of family by killing blue slimes. It's a bad game.
Yeah.
But I'm going to keep playing it.
No.
I might keep playing it.
You should not.
It sounds like you should stop.
You should stop, because like watching that. So I have not seen Sword Art Online.
You haven't seen it, so you don't know that is actually a storyline from the show.
Oh, it is, but it's
Yes.
it's a storyline from the show, but it is also. It seems like they took all the edgelord out of Sword Art
they
Online.
completely took out the edgy stuff.
And
so there's no mature discussions about getting kidnapped and possibly killed in a video game. There's a very brief part where, and I have seen Sword Art Online. I got to that part where, there's a weird incest love triangle story arc that the story then drops like a ton of bricks because it realizes halfway in, shit, this is bad. We got to move on. Elves.
I remember that part too. That was something.
It
sounds like a faithful recreation of a very bad anime.
All of these people need Jesus. Everyone involved.
Speaking of needing Jesus, I've been playing some Shadow Hearts Covenant.
How is that?
There is no Jesus, only Cthulhu nightmares and dominatrix, secret Vatican cultists, gay masked wrestler vampires.
Oh, hell yeah, that
who
sounds
pose
sick.
like heroes, and it's fucking great. It is way more of a game than the first Shadow Hearts was, and also like takes itself way less seriously. So it is a delightful time, and I'm going to keep playing it. I have also been playing Jedi Knight 2, Jedi Outcast, Star Wars Dark Forces 3, Jedi Knight 2.
Tell me
Jedi
about Kyle
Outcast.
Katarn.
Kyle Katarn, he's a Jedi. It has some very 2002 FPS level design, but you can do sick force jumps and lightsaber people, and I'm having a good time when I'm not having a bad time. But here, while I have a public soapbox here for, the 6 people who are going to listen to this one, putting the John Williams score over your video game is the most boring ass musical choice you can make, even if I'm sure you save a lot of money not hiring a composer. Listen, John Williams' score for Star Wars is iconic and great, but putting it on things outside of the context of a movie and just having it loop over and over again while I am circle strafing the stormtroopers and bunny hopping because it's a Quake Engine game, it's not good.
Yeah, that's one of my biggest pet peeves with games that have like this sweeping score, and then I have to like backtrack and not fight anything for a while, and it's just continuing with that epic scale music. It's very weird, and it gets super grating. Sounds like that's what you're going through.
Yeah.
Good choice.
Also, it's back at the time when the expanded universe of Star Wars was literally the only positive thing that we had going for that entire goddamn universe. Because the movies, which I'm suggesting the prequel movies, might not have been good.
Shocking.
Ian McDiarmid is really good in those movies.
He
and
is.
They're not that bad to watch.
He is. I think the CG, especially in the second movie, is just awful.
Does not hold up really at all. Ripe for a big George Lucas style touch-up, if you ask me. Because I've got no qualms about doing that, I guess.
It's amazing that an animated series had to unfuck that entire prequel timeline and successfully managed to do that.
And it's great. You should all watch it.
Clone Wars is good, y'all. And then Rebels.
I have a selection of Clone Wars and Rebels episodes that you need to watch. Spoilers, it's all the ones that feature Ahsoka, because I am a very big fan of her. If you say anything bad, ZP, I will...
I just feel like that second, third season where Ahsoka is just standing there constantly was a complete waste of that character, and there are multiple times when that series doesn't know what to do with her.
Spoilers, a lot of those episodes are not on my list.
But there's so many.
Yeah. Yeah, you're going to save a lot of time if you follow the machete cut that I have.
Yeah. Remember when Anakin Skywalker committed a war crime?
Which one?
Yeah. Oh, wait, you're right. There's multiple.
Anyway, let's spin the wheel.
Yay.
Yay.
Yay,
I'm not
wheel.
on Twitch, by the way.
You could be. We talk about games we want to play for the podcast, but haven't. All right.
Ow.
All right, Em, let's start with you.
Yeah. You've got
You've got the main podcast.
Seniority. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a list that I've been slowly adding stuff to. There's a few, like, mainstay games, like I think we should play Majora's Mask at some point, just because that game is pretty good. I added that one in when we were talking about time loops. I forget when we were talking about that, but Half Minute Hero I think we should play. I want to do a double feature at one point with 2 visual novels, which you might have heard of. We Know the Devil and Heaven Will Be Mine. If you're familiar with those, they are short, pretty weird in their own ways. I played We Know the Devil. It's about a bunch of kids at camp where they like summon the devil for some reason, and it's very queer and there's some strange stuff in there. I don't know if we can get a full episode out of it, but I always associate with Heaven Will Be Mine, which I think is a mech thing. Speaking of mech things, 13 Sentinels has been on my list for a while, since people were really going crazy for that a couple of months ago. And then there's like a few things that were just on my Steam, which are not worth talking about. But I think we definitely need to play 13 Sentinels at one point, because everyone was going nuts for that. And then just some smaller things that I'm interested in and probably no one else is. Such is the way that it goes. What about you guys?
Oh boy. For me, some of the games that I want to play, but I don't know. This is also for off the deep end. Like one game that I really want to play, but man, it's going to be hard to get it set up. I think I've shared this with Braden. I really want to play Pool of Radiance, Ruins of the Myth Draenor.
Yeah.
But that game is a disaster. but also it's like getting a legal copy of those Ubisoft era D&D games is impossible.
The very brief period where Ubisoft had the D&D license before Hasbro realized, oh wait, we own a video game publisher. So
it was a weird time, but also that game specifically is holy shit.
Okay, just to give context, this game, Pool of Radiance, Ruins of Mr. Noir, had a bug where in the 1.0 version of the game, if you uninstalled it, it would also uninstall system critical files on your Windows computer.
Awesome. Why? How?
Because for some reason it grafted itself onto your system files.
So it was a virus.
Yes. Well,
okay.
There was a weird period of time when Ubisoft was like the publisher who got very obsessed with DRM, and we don't want these kids copying our floppies, and so they put in like weird DRM
Star
and everything.
Force.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And every single DRM they made was basically like a spyware. Yeah, it's complicated. The other game, and I think Braden has repeatedly vetoed me, I want to play the D&D game that Atari made that uses D&D 4th Edition's engine, and it's the only video game ever made that used D&D 4th Edition.
I can't imagine why.
It has overwhelmingly negative reviews on Steam.
I can imagine.
At the same time, it's the only game that uses 4th Edition.
What if we just played actual 4th Edition?
Yeah, you might as well just cut out the middleman.
It would be less painful.
I cut my teeth DMing on 4th Edition, so I'm pretty yeah. I mean, if you like fighting, and that's what you're into these games for, it was like pretty good at that. I don't think it facilitated a whole lot outside of crunchy combat stuff. And hey, if you had fun playing it, and if you're still having fun playing it, that's great. But I gotta say, on the DM side, as someone who wanted to like tell stories and shit, it's not built to do that.
No,
it's just not. So
4th Edition is the game where I have had people tell me about their half fairy, half minotaur who could do like a 200-foot charge and deal like fucking 70 D10 damage or whatever because of the very specific build that they've made, and they do not remember anything about the stories that they did because it's just about fighting.
Yeah.
So
and it just got splat. I mean, not that any of these systems are immune from this really, except the one I like, but like splat booked to death at a certain point. So yeah, you'd wind up with bullshit like that. Anyway.
Yep. All right, Jeff, Braden, I think that's me.
All right.
Okay.
Jeff, you go first.
General purpose things that Deep Listens as a whole should look at. I'm kind of surprised there hasn't been an episode on Katamari Damacy yet.
It's really hard to play nowadays, I think.
It's on Steam. It's everywhere. They have gone wide. It is available on got a Xbox One, PS4, Switch, and Steam releases the original game. And it's like $20 regularly.
Add that to my list.
It's, for my money, it's my favorite game. It's like at the top of the list. When it came out, it was a $20 PS2 game because they were not super confident in like this weird, very budget looking thing, and it punched so far beyond its weight. It's incredible. Beyond that, there's a lot of like arcade stuff, which does not warrant a full episode, but I think are like, everyone should play Space Harrier and like really play and think about Galaga for a while because it's incredible. Rez is something I also really like because it's just basically even better Space Harrier on some level. Panzer Dragoon, the Panzer Dragoon remake on Steam is pretty good. Panzer Dragoon is like the midpoint between Space Harrier and Rez. I like that mode of game for some fucking reason. Burnout Paradise is incredible. Like, just very good, dumb, throw cars at stuff game. Burnout 3 is pretty good, but Burnout Paradise, the structure of it, everything except the like car crashing mode is done better in Burnout Paradise overall. Like every road just kind of wraps around in a very satisfying way, so you just like never need to stop driving too fast. It's incredible. Talk about it for hours. Stuff for off the deep end, I guess. Oh, one last one that the show might like. Deep Listens Prime, Hypnospace Outlaw. From the maker of Dropsy, which is also pretty good.
Oh yeah, I have this one, but I've never actually played it.
It is a fake AOL client that you are moderating, and it sort of goes places. As moderators, I'm sure you'd all love to play, but they gamify it in a way that's quite fun. And there's a lot of like 90s internet, 90s PC fun in there, which I think you're all old enough to remember some of that shit. So very, very highly recommended. RPGs specifically. I want to get into Tales things because I've just barely scratched the surface of those games ever. So I'm open to virtually anything that doesn't have stand and volley back and forth combat at this point. And it seems like Tales meets the bill for that. And then Half Minute Hero actually was something else that I had on this list. You should come hang out with us when we do that.
I would do that.
And then like I have my own like backlog that I would silently like to cull things out of. So Play Cthulhu Saves the World finally, because I could say I played it. Scratch it off this list. And I think those are the same people that made Cosmic Star Heroine game as well, which is like a fantasy star. Zeboid Games. Thank you. Where Zombie is, I think, their main dude's account on Twitter.
Another thing. I also want to make Gino play some games that are questionable content, such as like Max Gentleman's Sexy Business.
Oh boy.
Because entrapment.
Y'all gonna like start playing Christine Love's visual novels?
I would, fucking heartbeat. They're love
good.
Christine Novel's visual novels.
I will join you for the Lady Killer in a Bind episode. And I will be very uncomfortable, but I'll be less uncomfortable than Gino.
That game is so, I say it's good, with an asterisk on it.
I haven't played that one, but I've played Don't Take It Personally and Analog and Digital and was there another one peppered in there?
Analog, Digital, and I have a folder. Let me check.
Yeah. Digital, A Love Story is
Hate Plus.
Very good. Okay. When I think that's just like a revised version of Hate or Digital. Analog, A Hate Story, and Digital, A Love Story. I think Hate Plus is a gentle reworking of Analog, A Hate Story. I think. Yeah. Very good. Very, 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 very well done visual novel things, which aren't usually my groove, but she has kind of made me a believer. So
yeah, really excited for the new one she's working on. Anyway, Braden.
All right, so I think as far as like main podcast, when y'all gonna play Lightning Returns?
Fucking never. You're gonna have to twist Gino's arm to get him to play any Final Fantasy 13.
You know, at some point you got to do it. It's a main series game.
Is it?
But in terms of off the deep end, I would like to. I think there's a bit of a custody battle going on over Eternal Sonata because Gino would also like to play that game.
We can just have Gino as a guest, but I feel like that's our shit.
Eternal Sonata seems like our exact brand.
Yeah.
And then in terms of like CRPGs that I want to pick up, because I feel like we've been doing a lot of menu based JRPGs.
Wizardry 4, Braden.
I mean, yeah, we should absolutely do like a one-off on Wizardry 4. That's not even a joke. We should play, I think the weird indie pick I want to do for our podcast at some point is Under Rail, which is kind of a spiritual successor to Fallout 1 and 2, which means we'll have to play Fallout 1 and 2, or just Fallout 1, because Fallout 1's like 20 hours.
I think my roommate was playing that. I was like, this looks like Fallout the originals.
It's a crazy Russian game, so it's cool. And then I also think we should at some point play Arcanum.
Yeah.
Peak CRPG. Peak off the deep end energy.
You're gonna play Arcanum before Planescape?
Give me that Troika business.
Let's just play all of Troika's games. All three of them.
You gotta throw in at least one spider joint in there.
Yeah, spiders or spiderweb software.
There'll definitely some joints involved if I'm doing any of these. So.
If we're doing spiders, then we should play Bound by Flame because it's hot trash.
Fair enough.
Greedfall, which is actually seems okay. If we're doing Spiderweb, then I don't know, Avedon or like one of the Avernum games.
Yeah, we got stuff. We got stuff for ages, right?
There's stuff.
Yeah.
There's no end in sight. All right. So, we have passed the hour mark. Would you like another roll of the dice, or would you like to go to the survey results?
Let's roll it once.
Give it one more.
One more
time.
go.
One more time.
Go.
All right, it's gonna be a good one. I've taken off the ones we've already done. Kingdom Hearts talk.
Hell yeah, motherfucker.
Oh no. Oh no.
Yo, that boss fight at the end of Kingdom Hearts 1 sucks shit. It's fucking terrible. Why do you like these games? Oh my god.
You didn't like when the man turned into a boat?
I love when the man turned into a boat, but that fight's like half an hour long.
You ever think
Ah,
about how Ansem is
terrible.
voiced by Billy Zane in the first Kingdom Hearts?
God. I played through that whole game and was being patient. I'm like, okay. And that's the point where it's like, all right, I've beaten this game because I'm not going to sit and refight this thing twice because I died at some point. I'm just like, you know what? Whatever fucking skill check I needed to get past this or gear check, like, I don't care. I'm just watching the ending. I'm going to listen to Simple and Clean. I literally don't need to actually beat this game because I've done it. I've seen it. I understand how this works. The best parts of those games are the parts where it's like shitty Space Harrier and the gummy ship. Yeah.
Oh, that's
haven't
right.
played-
Jeff
wait,
likes the
hold
gummy
on.
ship stuff.
You
Kind
liked
of.
the gummy ship in 1?
Kind of.
I didn't think anyone liked the gummy ship.
I mean, it's closer to Space Harrier than the rest of Kingdom Hearts, which by default makes it a better game. Yeah, I don't know. I need to play Kingdom Hearts 2. I tried to play Chain of Memories and found
No, you
that to
don't.
be
No.
one of the worst things I've ever played.
Chain of Memories is a bad time. Every time I
mean-
try to play it.
Chain of Memories might be
Here's-
bad enough because they introduce cards, which is always bad in anything, real life or games, but it's the 3D movement in the PS2 version of that, which makes it way worse. Because I think all of the moves are kind of like expecting a 2D plane on some level, but you have this third dimension to do. Ugh.
Yeah. If you
Very,
want to
very-
hear us talk about this at length, we have our Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories episode where
That's right.
I explained that exact problem. Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories was not made to be a 3D fighting game, and it fucking shows in the remastered version. Which is wild, because Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories is what got me into Kingdom Hearts in the first place. I don't know how the fuck it did that, because that game is weird, and makes less sense than most of the other Kingdom Hearts games, which is saying something.
Jeff,
The-
when I say I like Kingdom Hearts, the secret is that I mostly just mean Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix.
Yes.
That
exactly.
does seem the case. You know what? I
Like,
read that
Earth by Sleep is cool, but
Mhm.
yeah, go ahead.
the boss fight books line of games, Alexa Ray Correa wrote a, let's say, 150-page book on Kingdom Hearts 2 and why it means so much to her as a person and why it is good, which duped me into playing the first one in the first place. And maybe I just shouldn't have bothered doing that. I should just get to the fireworks show.
Yeah, just go to the second one. In true Deep Listens fashion, let's start with number 2 and see how it goes. Kingdom Hearts 2 is the best of the series. Final Mix is the best version of it. And then Kingdom Hearts 3, 10 years later, 12 maybe.
I love how
It
that
was
collection...
like 14.
Yeah.
that collection that came out on the PS4 has like the 2DS games, but they're just cutscenes.
Yeah.
But they're cutscenes that are stitched together with like PowerPoint text presentation
Yep.
in between the cutscenes. It's incredible.
I don't know how difficult it would be to put a DS game onto a PlayStation, but that sure fucking wasn't the way to do it.
Instead, you can watch all the cutscenes from 358 over 2 days.
Yeah, in the same quality as they appeared, which was not very good even at the time. Kingdom Hearts is a train wreck. I have a tattoo of it, you know.
No one's wrong for liking Kingdom Hearts.
No.
I'm
I
just
like
saying,
that part where they literally took a cutscene from Versus 13 that got canceled when it pivoted to 15 and put it into Kingdom Hearts.
They did what?
The ending for the
hidden
DLC
ending for the DLC.
Oh,
3
yeah.
is bananas. I think my point with Kingdom Hearts 2 is mostly just like they took Kingdom Hearts 1 and they said, what if this controlled well?
What,
And
what if you could actually play this game good?
What if this had some good game juice, as they
there
say?
you go.
Part of it, like, you have to play on higher difficulties to really get the most out of your game juicer. Put the Sora's head orange on the game juicer.
To get all
But-
of the game juice out of it, you need to play on the highest difficulty.
You need to play on proud or critical, because
Yeah.
then it will force you to use the mechanics instead of just mashing. But it is a solid ass PS2 era action RPG with some really good combat and upgrade loops. And also, you go to Tron World.
The Tron World was also in the DS game.
Yep, Dream Drop Distance.
The 3DS game, because they took the naming convention, just applied it directly. That game's wild also. Just as a side game in the series, it goes weird places. If you want our aforementioned monster collecting minigame, they got that in there too. Anyway, Kingdom Hearts. They're sure making more of those.
Like, I have zero interest in actually doing this, but I feel like that is something that would be entertaining to see me play on a stream, just as completely nonplussed.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Because, boy, I don't know. But everyone will be so mad that it's not worth doing. So just be upset in my own home.
I mean, you could go the ZP route and just torture yourself on every stream.
Yeah. I think what I'm more entertained whenever you do convince Gino to let you play Kingdom Hearts 2, I just don't understand the hatred for Kingdom Hearts. I really don't. It's of the many schlocky things that even just Square Enix or that just exist in general, as Jeff would put it, just enjoy the slop. Jump in it. Roll around.
I think I've done like an about face on this, because I've accepted with like Final Fantasy VII Remake that there is some level of just aesthetic. The storyline is not going to make any sense at all. It's about the feeling that it evokes. That's kind of what I've come to with Kingdom Hearts. It's just going to throw terms at you, and it shouldn't make any sense. If it starts to make sense, it hasn't done its job right.
It's about feeling good, it's about loving your friends, and it's about Mickey Mouse in black leather swinging a sword that's a key.
I think it even goes deeper than that for people like approximately all of our ages. It's like, I also miss being like 12. I miss Disney not owning most of popular media, just about 60% of it. You know, like those are normal human feelings. Like if this was something that meant a lot to you as a young developing nerd person, it's not like that's going to go away. I feel like that's the appeal of Final Fantasy VII Remake to a lot of people who aren't like, what? I can't believe they would change. It's like, they probably don't, like the vast majority of people that consume that game probably had a really good time with it and haven't spent the last 10 years recording podcasts about Final Fantasy VII. You know, like they had a good time and now they get to play it again and it looks like they remember, and that's great. So like some of this, I think, is just a side effect of us choosing to live the lives we've lived.
It very much works under the assumption that you do not have a working relationship with the source content. If you have spent, as many of us have, countless hours replaying these games, maybe the remake is going to hit different.
And I think my favorite recurring storyline about Kingdom Hearts has to be how few shits Disney actually gives a shit about Kingdom Hearts.
Oh,
yeah.
It's
like
the
deeply
storyline
regret
that keeps on giving at this point.
Disney's spite preventing Sora from being in Smash. So
or
instead,
even
Square
their
Enix,
continual refusal to even have Kingdom Hearts represented in Disneyland or Disney World, or like just that kind of
wild.
shit. But it isn't Disneyland Tokyo. I saw fucking Aqua and Sora in Disneyland Tokyo.
Where do they should be?
The people dressed up as them?
Yes.
The actors? Oh,
yes.
Are you sure it wasn't just visitors?
No, you're not allowed to cosplay in Disneyland anything.
Really?
It would blur it's complicated, but yeah, you're not allowed to cosplay
when you go in.
Oh.
Okay, I want to ask, because all three of you know more about Kingdom Hearts, the series, than I do. So here's what I remember. I played Kingdom Hearts 1, and then I touched Chain of Memories. At the beginning of Kingdom Hearts 1, in that horrible fucking tutorial, which is very bad and has never literally always been bad, and they've just not touched it at all.
You don't like making the raft?
It's like an hour. It's
definitely one of the worst tutorials ever made.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Kingdom Hearts 2 tutorial.
Yeah.
You know what?
I will defend the Kingdom Hearts 2 opening.
Well,
Jesus Christ, Braden.
Just mentally prep me for this, because I don't even know what I'm getting into.
I'll let you finish your question in a second. Kingdom Hearts 2 tutorial is following Roxas, who has some connection to Sora, where you are playing through a 2-hour segment where you are just running around Twilight Town doing little missions to get money. And it seems to have no connection to anything you've experienced in a Kingdom Hearts game up until things start to get a little wonky, and then you get real Kingdom Hearts. And my problem with it is when I first played Kingdom Hearts 2, I did not have a memory card for my PlayStation, and therefore I played this thing. I tried to just leave the PlayStation on, but events in life happen. I played through this thing probably 3 times before I actually got a memory card and finally got to play the rest of the game. So that segment is burned into my brain, and I will never revisit it again because of that. Anyway, Jeff.
It's a nightmare.
Yes.
My question is, you do this build a raft and you share the Paupu fruit with Kyrie or whatever the fuck, and then you're at home and what is clearly a bedroom.
Yes.
And your mom, clearly a female authority figure in your young child Sora's life, is go to bed. Someone's talking to you from what seems like downstairs or down a hallway. And then they never touch on that again. What is that? Can someone tell me what that is?
Sora and Kyrie and Riku do not actually...
Is he just tripping balls? Is that what this whole thing is? Is the end of Kingdom Hearts 3 Saint Elsewhere?
Would have been a better ending if it was. Kingdom Hearts 1, Sora, Kyrie, and Riku do not actually live on Destiny Islands. They commute there to hang out with their friends. Sora just has a mom that is never addressed in any of the rest of the series. Who knows what happens, because the world gets eaten by the Heartless. So
he's an orphan.
Is Sora an orphan after that? Do they ever restore Destiny Islands?
Kind of amazing how Kingdom Hearts 3 doesn't answer any of the questions from Kingdom Hearts 2 and instead just goes its own way and then raises a bunch of different questions.
Questions that you don't give any fucks about. What's in this mystery
answer
box?
Questions that didn't need to be answered. It's not as if Kingdom Hearts 2 ends on a massive cliffhanger that never technically got addressed. What was the whole fucking secret? The
letter from
secret
King
ending.
Mickey. Oh, the secret ending of 2 is just the last fight of Birth by Sleep.
Yeah.
All right. That's right.
Birth by Sleep is good, damn it.
Birth by Sleep is
good.
good.
If it was not a PSP game, it would be great.
Yeah, I mean, I have that Story So Far collection for the PS4 on a disc. So in theory, I have access to 2 Final Mix, Birth by Sleep, Dream Drop Distance, the 2.8, all of that pre-3 shit is just in my other room. I've just been I don't know, that fucking man that turns into a boat. Which again, don't mind the man turning into a boat.
But what if you learned the origin of the man what turns in a boat?
My
tragic origin
bullshit is so high at this point in my life. It's I don't really care about that. It's just that fight really sucked shit. So I don't know. If you're telling me it gets better, I'll go back in.
Did you do the optional secret boss of Sephiroth in the first game?
Was he at the Hercules place?
Yeah.
I got through most, if not all, of those fights. So I'm going to say maybe, but it's been about 2.5 years now, and I've played a lot of stuff between then and now. And then there was the giant plague that uprooted all of our lives, so that's kind of gone. But probably.
Well, now it's time to go back and replay Kingdom Hearts 1.
No.
Yay. Anyway, I was thinking we were going to skip over the Kingdom Hearts discussion, but we sure went in. And now, I think it's time to get the results of the survey.
State of Deep Listens 2021. 9 responses. And across those 9 responses, we had 79 different games. So let's see how best to do this.
So 11 overlap? Is that how that math works? 79 unique responses out of 9 people, 10 answers.
There are a couple more overlaps that actually shrink that down to 8 overlaps.
Oh.
We'll see where. So should I just skip the top of this, or you want just everything? It's beautiful. I love how this turned out, except for a part of it. 10th place, all tied with 5 points. So 10th place tied, we have SimCity 3000 Unlimited, Detention, Golden Sun Lost Age, Devil May Cry 3, Bioshock Infinite, Contra, Ghost Trick, and The Binding of Isaac. Ninth place, all tied. None of these got multiple votes. Warhammer 2, Burnout Paradise, Life is Strange, Pillars of Eternity 2, Link to the Past, 13 Sentinels, Nier Replicant version 1.22, etc., with a recent remake of that. So now this should put us in 8th place. 6, 5, 4, 3. Yes, 8th. Some things with multiple votes in here. Galaga, Mass Effect, Fire Emblem Path of Radiance, Resident Evil 4, Sekiro, Yakuza Like a Dragon.
Mass Effect 1 above Mass Effect 2? That just feels wrong.
I forgot to put a Resident Evil game on my list.
It's all madness here.
The cat is also upset.
7th place, we got a couple things with multiple votes. Super Mario World, Rock Band 2, Undertale, Warhammer 2, Mother 3, Horizon Zero Dawn. It's a popular game.
You said Warhammer 2 twice.
Did I?
Almost as if multiple people voted for it.
Yeah, it's almost as if there was more than one person who enjoys that game.
I stand corrected. I was assuming those are two different things. We're gonna have to collapse this list then, aren't we? And then this one gets deleted.
I'm probably the person who wrote Warhammer 2.
That does shake things up ever so slightly. Sort Z through A. That did some shit.
Let's start from 10.
Well, yeah. Okay. So, 6th place. This is all tied. These are all AKA everyone decided this was my favorite game, and then no one else voted for it category. It is a tie between Civ 4, Katamari Damacy, Heroes of Might and Magic 3, The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim, Final Fantasy VI, Final Fantasy 15, and Lisa the Painful RPG. Okay, everything north of here from 5th up got multiple votes. 5th place with 11 points, Divinity Original Sin 2. 4th place, the new 4th place, thanks to being pointed out this is one game, Warhammer 2, so total Warhammer 2, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. 3rd place, 15 points, 2 votes total, Final Fantasy 8. 2nd place with 17 votes, with 17 points across 4 different votes on 4 different people's lists. The real winner, Final Fantasy 10.
Final Fantasy 10, really?
1st place with 18 points, high enough on 2 people's lists to beat Final Fantasy 10, unfortunately. Final Fantasy 9, a game that's worse than Final Fantasy 10 in every way.
Hold on, where did Final Fantasy 14 fall?
It fell in tied for 7th place, I guess.
Damn.
Which it also includes Tetris, Space Harrier, Psychonauts, Baldur's Gate, Final Fantasy VII, Symphony of the Night, Mana Khemia, Disco Elysium, Super Mario Bros. 3, and Kingdom Hearts 2. So this list is a nightmare, and you should just only pay attention to like stuff that got multiple votes probably, and I would just call this down. In fact, if I do that, ooh, that's a good idea. Yeah, okay. We're going to take...
Any main takeaways, surprises, suppressals?
We shouldn't like Final Fantasy 9 this much.
Yeah,
Final Fantasy 9 is top on the Deep Listen's Final Fantasy rankings.
Okay, things with multiple votes from bottom to top. Mega Man Battle Network 3.
Yes.
Then Horizon Zero Dawn.
Thanks.
A 2-way tie between Kingdom Hearts 2 and Super Mario Bros. 3.
Uh-huh.
Then Divinity Original Sin 2, Total War Warhammer 2, Final Fantasy 8, Final Fantasy 10, and then Final Fantasy 9 is your top game. So
8, 10, 9.
8, 10, 9.
It's almost like we have a small sample size.
Yeah.
Who like specific kinds of games.
Shocking.
So,
the dog is currently scratching at my door. He wants to come in and elucidate on this.
You could edit that to the last 2 minutes of that section instead of the 10-minute version, and it would be just as entertaining, probably.
Okay. Well, that's the state of Deep Listens. We got some Final Fantasy fans in here.
If we get more people to join, we would consider doing this again.
Yeah, State of Deep Listens 2022. Let's get Katamari Damacy right up there. It's better than Final Fantasy 9. So gotta make sure we know that.
I mean, Jeff, you're in contention with the actual ranking list of Final Fantasies.
Sigh. I just follow the line, I guess. 6 isn't on there yet, but you know.
Ninth place. It
Six
should
isn't
be.
on there
It should
yet?
be mentioned. Ninth placing was before Jeff started doing this.
Oh, was it?
Yes.
I would
Sounds like-
I would have pulled it down, not that far, because I'm a generous man, but it's not the best one.
No.
Okay.
In my eyes, it is not the best one. How's that?
All right, I think we have something lined up for
that
the
horse to
future.
death.
Yeah, I think I'll echo M. I'm surprised. We have active members of the community who play 14. I thought they would have pulled for that game a little bit more.
Yeah,
Oh well.
maybe
What?
next time.
Whenever
Right.
these polls come up, it says a lot about a person in terms of which Mario Bros. Game you want to vote for. 3? Is it World? Is it one of the modern ones?
Did I put one on? I put Mario Golf on mine, so that's where I am.
Mario
Really?
Golf, is it the GBA one that's secretly an RPG?
The N64 one, which is
Yeah.
just incredible, start to finish. GBA one's an RPG, and it's all right.
Those Camelot games were really good.
Camelot!
All
I
right.
understood that reference.
Yeah, sick.
Anyway, well, that's been the Deep Listens Variety Show.
God.
Thank you all for participating. It went a lot smoother than I expected it to, honestly. We sure managed to fill the time.
We have produced content.
Content has been produced. Take it
Content for
away,
the
Gino.
content gods.
Did you know that if you, the listener at home, support this podcast on Patreon, you too can watch us flounder around on this Discord to figure out what to do when Gino is indisposed?
The answer is we'll do all of it.
Yeah. Pay us, and if you ask it, we promise we won't do this again.
With that, I think we're going to spin the wheel one last time just for good measure to
Burn it down.
take us out. We all purchase and download Final Fantasy XIV. That is actually what came up. I'm not making that up. All right,
Fuck.
have at it, y'all.
Ah, shit, my credit card got declined. Damn it.
Oh no! All
I'm
right,
being
well,
audited by the IRS. Sorry.
Why would I do that when I can get the free trial and
You
play
get
through
the-
Heaven's Word?
Oh,
You can
God.
get the free trial that is free up until level 60, which includes the base game, A Realm Reborn, as well as the critically acclaimed Heaven's Word.
It's a real shit. My background check didn't clear.
Oh,
They say I'm not allowed in these sorts of communities anymore.
unfortunate. All right, with that, thank you, Jeff.
Thank you, Em.
Thank you, CP.
Scruff McGruff, Chicago, Illinois, 60652.
That almost awoke a memory, but yeah, we're off tune. Thank you, Braden.
My mom also tells her friends that I have a podcast, and I hope none of them listen to it.
And thank you, listeners. Once again, you can get in touch with the show at DeepListensPod on Twitter, deeplistens.libsyn.com. We have our comment sections, and deeplistenspodcast@gmail.com. And support the show on patreon.com/deeplistens. And you too can be on the Discord and watch us as we make a wheel and suffer. With that, what does Gino usually say? Peace?
Peace.